This is the PickBits Daily Signal for Tuesday, July 14th. Your signal in the day's tech noise. Here's the lineup. 1. We've watched city after city rip out their license plate cameras all summer, and now LA's own watchdog has counted what those cameras cost innocent drivers. 2. The day before Meta cut 8,000 people, I said no law would make them prove an AI didn't pick the list. 26 of them are trying to force that proof. 3. An Uber driver says the app studied him until it worked out the least he would personally accept, and then paid him that. And 4, on the brighter side, the FDA cleared an AI that catches the eye disease that blinds people with diabetes from a photo a nurse can take. Let's get into it. This is the PickBits Daily Signal. Story 1. For 6 weeks, we've been tracking cities pulling their license plate cameras out of the ground, 30 of them since last year, once agencies were caught quietly searching the data. Those stories were about misuse. This one is not. LA's Inspector General audited the cameras working perfectly and came back with a number. 161 innocent drivers pulled over on a stolen vehicle hit in a single 2-month window. The cameras were not broken. The list behind them was other departments had recovered those cars and never took them off the shared hot list. So the machine matched a real plate to a record months overdue for deletion. Against the 337 real recoveries, roughly 1 in 3 stolen car stops hit somebody who had done nothing at all. Here is one of those stops from Aurora, Colorado.
On Sunday morning, Aurora police say officers received an alert with a photo of the license plate that belongs to this blue SUV. But this car wasn't stolen. It just happened to have the same license plate number as a stolen motorcycle with Montana plates.
Those children were handcuffed at gunpoint on the side of the road, ages 6 to 17. Stale row in a database is how a child ends up face down on the pavement. LAPD hadn't audited this program since 2022. When somebody asked for the records last year, the department said it had none. It has now disconnected all 138 of its flock cameras. Flock's answer, its cameras photograph cars in public, they don't follow a person around. Fine. But this was never about following anyone. It's about a list nobody was cleaning. Look up your own town. The atlas of surveillance shows in 5 minutes whether your department runs plate readers and who it shares them with, and the sharing is the whole risk. LA's false hits came from other agencies' stale records. Follow this one. Story 2. Back on May 19th, the day before Meta cut 8,000 people, I told you no federal law would require Meta to prove an AI didn't pick the layoff list. 26 of those workers filed suit yesterday to force exactly that proof before Judge William Orrick. They say Meta built the list with internal AI, MetaMate, employee-trained agents, keystroke and activity monitoring, algorithmic ranking, all scoring people on output. Every one of these 26 took, requested, or was approved for legally protected leave in the last 2 years, and someone lawfully absent produces less output. So the model ranked them under the people at their desks. Somebody decided that how much you use the company chatbot measures whether you deserve your job. Here is what one of those monitoring consoles actually shows the employer.
Here, I can get a breakdown on exactly how they're spending their time and look at screenshots and videos from their monitors. I can also explore any of these tabs above to check out what emails they've been reading or sending, or see snapshots from their screen at various points throughout the day.
Everything that console collects gets fed to a model that ranks you against the person sitting next to you. That is the allegation. Meta denies it in one sentence. Workforce decisions were and are made by people, not AI. These are allegations, nothing's proven, and discovery is where it gets settled. But here's the part nobody warns you about. These 26 can't bring a class action at all. Meta requires arbitration with a class action waiver, so they're going one at a time, in private, asking only for their jobs back. The arbitration clause you scrolled past on your first day is the most important document in this story. Dig yours out this week. And if you took protected leave and then got cut in a reduction in force, send this to whoever's helping you read your severance. Story 3. Back in June, Amazon software decided when a delivery driver could turn the air conditioning on, an algorithm setting your working conditions. This one sets your pay. Edwin Carranza drives for Uber in Los Angeles, and last Wednesday filed a class action in San Francisco. Uber pays him a different amount than it pays you for the same trip, based on a prediction of the least he'll personally accept, built from data he had to hand over just to work. Location, trip history, Every offer taken or turned down, his cancellations, his hours, his face. What came back? Offers that worsened after he declined a cheap ride, lower fares toward his house at quitting time, surge alerts gone by the time he got there. That is a slot machine that quietly rewrote its odds for you personally. Pay set by what the company watched you do, not by what you actually did. Washington already has a word for this when it is aimed at shoppers.
Consumers should not ever be profiled and charged different prices based on that profile. It is an abusive and unfair practice that uses consumer data against them.
The complaint says Uber ran that same play in reverse on its own drivers. He isn't relitigating employee versus contractor status. That fight has swallowed gig work litigation for a decade. He's suing on privacy and consent. Nobody told him his own data would be used to model his own price sensitivity, and he never agreed to it. What Carranza wants, not a payout, but an order, making Uber disclose what data sets the number on your screen. Follow this one, and if you drive for any platform, pull your own data this week. Uber runs a privacy center where, in California, you can demand the specific pieces they hold on you. Story 4. 4 days ago, I told you about a teenager whose AI spots autism and ADHD in a retinal photo. The back of your eye keeps turning out to be the cheapest window into the body we have, and last Thursday, the FDA cleared another one. I predict DR from a small Richmond Hill, New York company called Eye Health Screen. It reads a color photo of your retina for diabetic retinopathy, one of the leading causes of preventable blindness. Here is why that matters more than it sounds.
So one really important thing to know about diabetic eye disease is that in its earliest stages, there actually aren't symptoms. So the patients won't know that something's starting to go on in their eye.
The cruelty of this disease is that it is silent exactly while it is treatable, and by the time your vision changes, the damage is often permanent. Most Americans with diabetes never get the yearly dilated exam that catches it, not from refusal, but from the friction of another appointment. It is not trying to beat an eye doctor. It is trying to exist in a building where there is not one SOAR easy enough for a nurse to run, screening you where you already are. It's a screening tool, not a diagnosis. A positive result still means a specialist visit. The reason people go blind from this is not a treatment that failed, it is an appointment that never happened. If somebody you love has diabetes, their next visit now has one extra question. Do you do the AI retinal screening here? Send this tonight. 3 of today's 4 are a model scoring a human being from data they never knowingly handed over. The 4th one is a nurse taking a photograph of your eye and a model telling her to send you to a doctor while you can still be helped. I would take a lot more of the 4th kind. That's the signal. I'll see you tomorrow.